You've spent time, a lot of time in other parts of Africa. It's often said, educate the women of Africa and you will see a big change in the continent. Is Liberia a role model for the rest of the continent right now?
I can't say that Liberia broadly is a role model for the continent. I think the president here is a role model for the continent. Liberia still has a long way to go. It's rebuilding. It's fragile, but it's improving. And it's going to take some time before it gets to the point where other countries are saying, we want to be like Liberia. But are other women in other countries saying, maybe we can do it here? I think they are. So in that sense, yes, they are a role model for the rest of Africa. I think in Africa, if we look around the continent, we see some success stories, but we see a lot of places going backward. If we just concentrate on West Africa here alone, we've had a coup in Guinea, Liberia's neighbor. We've had something close to a coup in Guinea-Bissau, Liberia's neighbor. We have a need for democratic elections in Cote d'Ivoire that have not occurred. So all of these countries being run by the men of the countries have gone backward. So now we have an opportunity to see where women will take these countries. And I think we might see something different once we see women in positions of authority. There are thousands of Liberians who live in the United States, who identify with the United States, they have American citizen children, and they're just not ready to take that big step to come back to Liberia. I'm of the view that without them, Liberia cannot succeed at a pace that it ought to succeed, and that it will require the commitment of people with the kinds of skills, the kind of education that these people in the United States have to help rebuild this country. So I join the president in encouraging these people to come back to Liberia and help rebuild Liberia. Liberia needs them more than the United States. A lot of them argue that it's economic, that there are not schools for their children, there are no hospitals for their children.
Pretty strong arguments.
They're strong arguments, but the rest of other Liberians are here. And while it's not going to be easy, those things are not going to develop without them, because there are doctors there, there are teachers there, there are secretaries and janitors. I mean, just the full range of people. All of those skills are needed here in Liberia. So there won't be schools until these people come back and help rebuild those schools. So it is compelling, but at the same time, if we all are going to rebuild Liberia, I like to say to people, everybody will have to roll up their sleeves. It's going to require some sacrifice, a lot of sacrifice from a lot of people to turn this country around. I think Liberians are still struggling with their identity as Liberians. You don't see that in Nigeria. Nigerians can talk about their tribes, but Nigerians are Nigerians. Ghanaians are Ghanaians. Kenyans are Kenyans. Liberia, I get the feeling that they're still struggling. And this whole sense of nationality has not gelled yet. There are very high expectations for the United States. And I think that's the challenge that the president of Liberia faces from this entire country, that the expectations are so high and people are so impatient. But people have high expectations of the United States. And we're part of having given them high expectations because we're here for them now, and they expect more from us. And to have to say to Liberians, we've done all we can do, it's very difficult to do.
When they need so much.
When they need so much.
Is there any area where they don't need help right now?
I can't think of a single area. The Liberians talk about the priority of the priorities. Everything is a priority. And if I can end on one thing, I think the most horrible thing of this war is not the tearing down of the infrastructure. Infrastructure, it'll take time, can be rebuilt. It is the tearing down of people's hopes and spirits here in this country. The entire social fabric of the society was destroyed by this war. And that is more difficult to rebuild than roads and buildings and hospitals and schools. It's rebuilding people's hope, their confidence in their spirits.